Have you ever felt too small for your dreams? Too weak for the weight you were carrying? What if I told you that sometimes the smallest body holds the biggest courage? This is the story of a tiny ant who carried more than her size, and maybe more than you think you can carry too. In a quiet corner of a large green field, there was a small ant colony. Hundreds of ants lived there. Each one had a job. Each one worked hard.
Among them was a tiny ant named Anya. This is the story of a tiny ant. Anya was smaller than the others. Not just a little smaller, much smaller. When the other ants stood in a line, she looked like a child walking among adults. And because of that, many ants did not take her seriously. "You are too small," they would say. "Carry lighter grains. Do easy work."
Anya never argued. She just smiled. But inside her heart, she had one thought. I may be small, but I am not weak. One summer, the sun was hotter than ever. The ground was dry. Food was becoming hard to find. The queen called a meeting. "Winter will come soon," she said. "We must collect more food than ever before. Every ant must give her best." The ants spread out in different directions. They worked from morning till night. Some carried big seeds, some carried pieces of leaves. Anya tried to carry a large grain of wheat. It was almost twice her size. She pushed it. It moved a little, then rolled back. She tried again and again. Other ants walked past her. One of them laughed softly. "Why don't you carry something smaller?" he said. "You will only slow us down."
Anya felt her eyes burn. Not from the sun, from those words. She looked at the heavy grain. For a moment, she thought of leaving it. For a moment, she thought maybe they were right. Maybe she was too small. But then she remembered something her mother once told her. Strength is not in your body, it is in your decision. Anya took a deep breath, and she pushed again.
The grain moved a little more this time. She slipped. She fell. Dust covered her tiny legs. The sun was burning her back. Every step felt like lifting a mountain. Hours passed. Other ants finished their trips and returned. Some looked at her with pity. Some ignored her. But Anya kept moving. Slowly, very slowly, step by step. Sometimes she dragged the grain. Sometimes she pushed it with her head. Sometimes she simply stood still, gathering strength. There were moments when she wanted to cry. Moments when she wanted to shout. Why is this so hard? Have you ever felt like that? Like everyone else is moving ahead and you are still struggling with the same weight? That was Anya, alone on the dry ground, carrying something bigger than her body, but not bigger than her courage. As the sun began to set, dark clouds suddenly filled the sky. A strong wind started blowing. The ants knew what it meant. A storm, and not a small one. The colony was still far away. Anya was still outside, still pushing that same heavy grain.
The first drop of rain fell, then another. Soon the sky opened. Rain poured heavily. The ground became muddy. The grain became slippery. The wind pushed Anya back. She lost control. The grain rolled down into a small hole filled with water. Anya fell beside it. Cold waters surrounded her tiny body. She tried to climb out, but the mud pulled her down. She was tired, so tired. Her legs were shaking. For a second, she thought, "This is it. I cannot do this anymore." She looked at the grain in the water. All that effort, all that pain, was it for nothing? The storm grew louder. Thunder roared in the sky, and in that loud moment, Anya made a quiet decision. "I will try one last time." She pushed her body against the grain. The water was rising. The wind was strong. But she pushed. Not because she was strong, but because she refused to quit. Slowly, the grain moved. Just a little. Then a little more. With one final push, she rolled it out of the hole.
She climbed on top of it and used the wind to guide it toward the colony. The storm helped her now. The same wind that pushed her back was pushing her forward.
When she finally reached the colony entrance, she collapsed. Other ants rushed toward her. They were shocked. The tiny ant, who was too small, had brought the biggest grain of the day.
When she finally reached the colony entrance, she collapsed.
The next morning, the queen called everyone together. She stood beside the large grain. "Who brought this?" she asked. Anya stepped forward quietly. The ants looked at her in silence. The queen smiled. "This," she said, "is not just food. This is courage. This is determination. This is what happens when someone refuses to give up."
The ants who once laughed now lowered their heads. From that day on, no one called Anya small again, because they understood something important. Size does not decide your strength. Effort does. Courage does. Your decision does. And now, let me ask you something. What is the heavy grain in your life? A dream that feels too big? A problem that feels too heavy? A responsibility that feels unfair? Maybe people around you say, "You can't do it. It's not for someone like you. You are not enough." But listen carefully. You don't need to be the biggest. You don't need to be the strongest. You just need to refuse to quit. Step by step, push by push, even if you move slowly, even if you fall, even if the storm comes. Because sometimes the storm that tries to stop you ends up pushing you forward, just like it did for a tiny ant, a small body, but a brave heart. So the next time you feel small, remember Anya, and remind yourself, I may be small, but I am not weak. Carry your grain, face your storm, and keep moving, because courage is always bigger than size.
Never measure yourself by your size, your background, or what others say. Measure yourself by your courage to keep going. And sometimes, that is more than enough.